So, hi Art, how are you?
I'm doing
Good?
great. Yeah.
Good, thanks for coming today, and we're going to do a demonstration on how to do muscle testing for flower
Yeah,
essences.
excellent.
Alright, so you've had some muscle testing before, have you?
I have.
Okay, great, so you know what to do, but for all those out there, it's basically comes from originally comes from kinesiology, so which came from Chinese medicine, and it's testing the qi flow or the life force energy flow through a particular muscle. And we can use that then for diagnosis of different things, whether they be foods or flower essences. And there are different ways that people do diagnosis for flower essences. You can read through a repertory and figure out if you've got a particular mental, emotional, spiritual imbalance that you want to address. Or I like doing it like this because it goes into more of our subconscious, or what I would call our prenatal chi or our primal chi. And we can test whether we really need something, because sometimes a flower essence might be confronting for us that we don't want to face about ourselves. So muscle testing goes beyond that, what we could call the false ego, and goes into the real self. And it's basically saying that, yes, this energy that we're holding is going to strengthen my energy field. So first of all, what I'll do is get you to hold your arm up on this side, please. And what I'm going to do is keep it nice and straight, and then stop me from pushing this down. Okay, so now I want you to think of the word yes, and stop me from pushing it down. Okay, and now I want you to think of the word no, but keep stopping me from pushing it down. All right, so we can see that's a really good test. If we can get that with people, that means it's going to be a nice clear test. If we get things like a weak for a yes and a strong for a no, then we've got to do a lot more complicated things in order to achieve that. But 4 out of 5 times, you should be able to get it where no matter how much they're resisting, even when they're thinking of the word no, that their energy field goes down. In those 1 out of 5 times, like I say, I'm not going to deal with that right now. But if you can get that, then we're really good and ready to do muscle testing for flower essences. So what we're going to do here, right now, we're just using some of the Californian flower essences. I do use Australian ones. I have the West Australian range of light ones, but the West Australian living essences ones. This is the Californian range of light, and there's the FES professional kit, plus the original flower essences of Dr. Bach, who came up with the whole idea, which I can discuss in another video about the whole, and you can read about his work. For me, he's one of the great healers of our time, and an incredible man. So what we'll do, they're just in a bit of a random order here, but what I'm going to do is use the muscle testing here to test, some sort of wasp or bee or something there. I'm going to get Art to touch. We can do this, first of all, I'll show you how to do them individually. So what I do is I get Art to touch with this hand each flower essence, and then I muscle test him to see, and what he's thinking is, do I need this flower essence? Okay? So I'll just get you to think about that. Do I need this flower essence? And that's a no. Then I'll get him to move to the next one. That's a no. Next one's a no. Next one's a little bit stronger, but still a no. Whereas that one is nice and strong. See how it doesn't push? I can push down, but it's a strong muscle. That means that flower essence he needs. So we'll put that to the side, and then we can look up what it's for later on. And the good thing is this is like a blind test, because he doesn't know what these, you can even have all the labels not facing, so he doesn't know which flower essence is for which. So we can do all of them individually like this. Oh, there's another one that's coming strong. See how it doesn't kind of go down? So we'll put that one to the side as well. Now we can do this one. And that's another one that is strong. And another quick way to do that, so that's covered one box here. I would then put that box to the side. You can get these in smaller bottles, by the way. I like to get the larger bottles just because I've got then a decent supply. What Art could do then is to hold several of them at a time. And then if we get a strong response, then we can then individually test. But if they all come up and all he's thinking is, do I need any of these? That way we can go through a box quite quickly. So I'll get you to try that method, Art. Okay. Whereas there's something strong here, now we'll test them individually. And it's that one. And we can double check if there's any of the other ones that were there. No. And then we can check through like this. And he doesn't need any of them. And so that way then we can go through, you know, all of these different boxes. There's different ideas about how many essences a person should take. I personally think you can always add them up and then test to see whether they're all strong. But there is different ideas. Sometimes you might just want to work on one issue at a time. But I'd prefer to go through them all. So we'll just keep going with this if you're happy with that, Art. You can see there it's strong. You don't need to like push to the point where you tire out the person's muscle, but you can see instantly the chi flow is giving us that yes response through his muscle. And you can feel the difference, can't you, the difference between a strong muscle and a weak muscle, yeah. Okay, so we're coming into some of the original Dr. Bach essences. Which ones are, these are from England. So then we test each one individually, and as I say, when you've got a big range of flower essences, you can actually cover a huge range of mental, emotional, and spiritual imbalances that people get. These are a little bit, don't sit so well in this part of the box. And you have to get used to, everybody's got a different yes or no, and that's why we always start off with the give me a yes, give me a no, so that you can know what people's yes or no are. And it's always easier when it's nice and clear. If it's not clear, it makes it far more difficult. All right, so we got. Yeah, that's it. Right. Okay, so just 2 more boxes to go. As I say, I do have a lot of other boxes from the Australian range too, but you know, we don't want to give them too many at a time. So there is a feel to it. Like I say, it's not all about force. Get you to hold a bunch of them. It's just about feeling whether that resistance is there in the muscle. And that's how then you can get good at muscle testing and get through a whole lot of testing of flower essences in a fairly quick and timely manner. All right, perfect. So now what we would do is we would actually then go through each of these essences that he got individually, and he can then read about the imbalances that it affects and the positive qualities that it's going to then help him with. And of course, Art may not want to reveal all those imbalances to the whole world, so I'm not going to go through them all individually for him. But we'll turn the camera off and then we'll look at what they're for his own private thing. When as a consultant, you don't even have to know exactly what they're for either. You could let the person read it if they want, or you can go through it and help them through it as a counseling kind of thing. Either way can be done. I personally find it a fantastic way. He's now got these different essences. I can pretty much guarantee you, and we'll talk to him afterward, about how accurate they were. Okay? But yeah, you don't want to discuss these all in publicly, or no. But I'll get a book and we'll discuss it. So Art, how did you feel about those ones?
Yeah, pretty much all of them pretty accurate.
Yep, yeah.
Speaks to something going on that's pretty alive for me right now. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
Fantastic, and I thought me as well. Why not? While you're here, we'll get the Australian ones out, hey?
Yeah, for
Give
sure.
them a try.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I'll just keep it.
Yeah.
I'll just explain it a bit more used. Alright, so these ones are a little bit more used. The boxes are a bit more, we use them a lot, so they're not quite as in good condition, but all the bottles should still be there. Occasionally some of these are ones we made ourselves as well. So I'll get you to test these.
Yeah.
We'll see how we go. I always think if you've got enough flower essences, then it's kind of like you can treat most issues that people are going through. It's an amazing, absolutely amazing philosophy that these two. Obviously the kinesiology is an amazing thing, and combining that with Dr. Bach's ideas around flower essences and the effects on the human personality. If you're unsure, like I was a bit unsure, we can always get him to retest some of those. Yeah, I think there's something in there. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, that was it. Okay, and then, so those are the Western Australian, they're called the living essences of Australian flowers. As I say, sorry about the condition of my boxes. These are what's more commonly known as the Australian bush flower essences. So they're Ian White's ones that he came up with. So we'll test them as well. There's obviously flowers from all over the world that people are making flower essences of. So yeah, I would just hold a bunch, and that's definitely one in there. So obviously the energy of flowers from Australia is different than the ones from North America and from Europe, and they can, treat slightly different issues. There, yeah, it's one of those, right? That one. Yeah. And you want to just test that one as well? All right, so therefore we come up with another 4 essences, and we can let Art have a read. So the first 2, the Western Australian ones, will be in this book. So what I do is I just get Art to have a read of his essences, see how it gels with him, and then I'll get the little book for the other ones. What I like about some of these books too is they do have a lot of the pictures of various flowers. Some people actually just go through a book like this and will go, oh, that flower really stands out to me, and that's another way that some people diagnose. Now that you can see the beautiful energies that flowers have, yeah, they're quite incredible. How have you gone so far there, Art?
Yeah, just still reading it.
Yeah. No, I think we probably had that link in the back. Oh, yeah, I didn't realize I need to find. All right. And So another way of diagnosing, you'll see some of these books have really nice, beautiful pictures of the flowers. You can then look at a picture. A lot of people will just scroll through until one really stands out to them, and then they can figure out what that flower is and how that affects between the subconscious mind. I personally prefer the muscle testing. Some people also use a pendulum. I've done that before, and that was very, very effective. But I haven't been using that lately. I just pretty much stick to the muscle testing. But you can certainly do that. There are different ways. All right, so some beautiful pictures, and then you would just read about what they're for. And then what we're going to do once Art's read through these particular flowers that are there for him. I'll just show him the other ones here that he got, and this book, I got that one, and that other one. Then we would then get a dropper bottle, and we would put some preservative in it, either some glycerin or some brandy. Glycerin for people that don't like alcohol, and we would put about 4 or 5 drops from these stock bottles into the dosage bottle, and then he would then get a dropper and put the dropper a dropper full of the essences mixed with the water and the brandy that we're going to use as a preservative into his water, or just take them under his tongue. So basically 4 or 5 drops of each of these bottles. We'd put about 1/3 brandy or 1/3 glycerin into a dosage bottle, and then fill the rest up with spring water, natural water. So how'd that go, Art?
Yeah, they were pretty accurate too.
Yeah.
And, yeah, even the name of this one means something to me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, good. So hopefully you'll feel that, with flower essences, as you take them, it's not like it just suddenly hits you. It's just more like a subtle change that starts to take place, and you start to feel like, oh, I'm not dealing with the same issues I was dealing with before. So it's an interesting thing. I was quite skeptical about flower essences when I first learned about them 28 years ago when I studied naturopathy, but over the last 28 years I've been using them and testing, muscle testing for people, and I've seen the results, and they're quite profound. And it's all about, when we look at flower essences, it's all about the idea of health being what they call the soul journey. So it's our journey to fullness, our journey to completeness, our journey to be more in touch with who we really are, and discarding anything that's not helping us in that way, and tuning us back into our own nature, which is then, of course, tuned into the greater forces of nature too, and we're obviously interconnected with nature. And so the idea of health then is to reconnect with our own nature in a true form. So many of us are wearing what I call social masks, and what I call kind of crap or bullshit, around that personality of behaving in ways that aren't true to themselves. So the flower essences are going to help you get back in touch with who you are.
Yeah.
So I personally use them on a regular basis. I test myself every week or two, and I'll show you how to test yourself as well, using a knee basically. Okay, so if you're wanting a simple way to test for yourself, you could do it with your arms, but then you don't have enough arms to be touching the flower essences at the same time. So I use the knee as an indicator muscle, and I'll lift my foot up, and then I'll test, and I'll go, give me a yes, give me a no, and it goes weak when I do a no, so that means that's a good indicator. And then what I can do is just with my other hand, so this hand's going to be pushing the knee down, I can just hold a bunch of flower essences and see if I need one. And then, I need one of those, so I go through individually until I find the one that I need. And then I test, that's all good. So that's a really quick way of going through a box. I can actually get through a whole lot of these in a very quick manner. Whoop, something I need there. And again, I'm not looking at any of these, so I have no idea about which essence. I'm not trying to get a particular one. I'm keeping it as like what we call a blind test, so that I'm not bringing, potentially bringing my own ego in. If it's saying something like, I'm very arrogant, then I'm not going to have it where I don't want to face that particular aspect of my personality. So that's the great thing about doing it this way, is you don't, see something I need in there. Oops, that's another one. All right, so I just do them quickly like this. And I do this on a regular basis as part of my kind of self-maintenance health routine for my own mind, body, spirit health. Don't want those to tip over. And not only does it give me that opportunity to have a flower that's going to help bring me back into balance, it gives me an opportunity to look at myself too. Like I can go, okay, when I'm muscle testing this, what's this telling me about myself? So it's of several different things. It does several different things, I should say. And the thing with flower essence is sometimes they're treating long-term issues. So they could be treating something that happened to you as a child or some form of imbalance that you've had for a very long time. And when you're taking those flower essences for that sort of condition, and then you want to take it over a period of months. But other times it could be just due to the fact that you didn't get a good night's sleep and you're feeling a bit spaced out. And a flower essence could treat that and then bring that back into balance within a short period of time. Okay? So again, very quick way of testing. Okay. It's a pretty amazing thing. I don't claim to understand it all, because you'd have to understand life force really well. I just accept that life force is real. And that, people have known a lot about that in some other cultures. And we're at a great time where we can draw upon all these different cultures. Okay, so I need another one over here. This one. See, if you have enough flowers, you're going to find something to work on in yourself. I always think life's a journey. It's not just like, health isn't just a matter of, oh yeah, I'm healthy or I'm not. It's a journey. That's why I like the idea of having it, looking at life as a soul journey, and the flowers help you along that journey toward wholeness. And there's always little imbalances you can work on. Alright, so the last box here, and then I can also test the ones that Art got for himself, because I could have some of the same issues, so I can just quickly test them, and all good. So then I've come up with a good number of essences here, alright, so about 8 or so. And then I can look up what they're for, and then put them in either put them in my water bottle or put them in a dosage bottle, and then take them throughout the day. Sip them. If I'm doing it in my water bottle, because I take flower essences on a regular basis a lot, I often just put them in my water bottle and then I'll sip them throughout the whole day. But for people that aren't used to it, I recommend putting it in a dosage bottle, then putting some of that into your water bottle, or just putting it under your tongue. All right. So I think they're personally amazing. I think every household should have a set of flower essences, and you can make them yourself. All you have to do, as I've shown in another video, get flowers, put them in spring water, in the sunlight for a day, then the sunlight infuses the essence of those flowers into the water, then you preserve that in brandy. Okay, so you can make them yourself if they're getting too expensive or anything like that. Grow lots of flowers. You can see flowers are blooming all around this garden right now, so I can take the time and I can then preserve them. All right. In fact, I do have a bunch that I've made myself in the cupboard, but I won't go into them right now. All right, so what I've done here is I've just, unfortunately, it's the smallest bottle I had. Usually I would use something about half, a third that size or a quarter that size. But, because you haven't had flower essences for a while, Art, you can then keep this and take it over the next couple of months to create a transformation. So what I've done is I'll put about that much brandy in here, and then I'll put about that much natural water. So we're on rainwater tanks here, so I've just used our rainwater. And then I've left a bit of space, and what I'm going to get Art to do is to put 4 drops of each of the essences into that bottle, and then he's going to shake it. And with mine, I take them on a regular basis, so what I'm going to do is I'll put them in my water bottle without a preservative. So the brandy is a preservative. These do have brandy in them as well, so you will taste them as brandy in your water bottle. Some people don't like that. So 4 drops. And I still have to look up what mine are for. So then what Art could do is put like a capful or 2 capfuls of that into your water bottle, and then so that you're taking it, it's more about the frequency and taking it on a consistent basis, because it's like recorrecting basically our psyche. I look at our psyche like a garden, that we want to have our nice plants growing in, but we want to get rid of the weeds. We want to have protection around our garden, like they say in Africa, a good fence around your garden stops the elephants from trampling your nice plants. That's a saying in Namibia and a place like that when I was over there. And that's how I look at it. Like, our consciousness is like a garden. And in it we have all our delicate plants, like our love, our care, our softness, that sort of thing. But we need a protection around that, which is, we could look at that as the yin and the yang. Our yin is our soft or gentle side, and our yang is our tough side. And so, obviously the analogy with gardening goes well with flower essences. It'll correct the psyche into more and more having it where you can have your gentle side and your loving side and caring side, but then have protection around it and not be drained and worn out from overly merging with people or whatever it may be. But everybody's got their own issues. Everybody's on their own journey. These just help you get there. And so many people are suffering from depression, anxiety, all sorts of different mental health conditions. And to me, flower essences are the most incredible form of medicine. I mean, obviously massage, flower essences, good nutrition, and then, herbal medicines also in there as well. All right, so while Art does that, I'm going to have a look at what mine are for. And I probably won't tell you.
I seem to have a few more issues going on.
Right. Well, I've had times in my life where I've had quite a lot. You sort of know the more essences you've got, the more you know there's a lot going on right now. Yeah. To me, it's just one of those great things. Whenever I feel out of balance, I'm like, time for flower essences. Or also, I find it really good in couples therapy. If there's conflict in our household, if Corey and I are having a fight or a difficulty or something, or me and my boys, or when Eliana's grown or something, we can all just go, okay, let's muscle test everybody. And then inevitably somebody comes up with this, somebody comes up with that, and arguments are not always a one-sided thing. There's often both people are involved in bringing their issues to the table. And so instead of just getting stuck in these arguments that so many people have, and then we can muscle test instead. And the muscle testing, like I say, it's that blind thing, so it's a sort of neutral, it's a neutral thing that just, it's not like, it's not biased, like some people are accused of bias in relationship counseling or something like that. Where this is just, well, it's your body saying it. you're muscle testing the person. So unless your body's lying, as long as you can get that clear muscle test to start. Well, this first one is exactly how I was feeling. Rejuvenation, feeling a bit tired. Felt that since for a while. And yeah, so you're welcome to take some now if you want. I would shake the bottle as well. Give them a shake, and then it kind of percusses it a bit, like even in homeopathy they often do that. Yeah, well, all these are resonating with me. It's so interesting too, is what I find when you do this muscle testing and things. You often find that either the issues you've been thinking of in your head, certain issues to do with like where you're at, you know, will come into your mind, and those keywords will then be shown up in the flower essences. Or if you're not saying it, somebody else might be saying it about you. That's what I find. I'm like, yeah, I didn't want to admit that about myself, but somebody else thinks that about me. Usually somebody close to you. Your wife or a loved one or something, you know. Partners tend to be able to see a lot of things in each other that sometimes the other person either can't see or doesn't want to see. Interesting. I love flower essences. I really do. I think there's something that a lot of people don't understand, but they're actually just such an incredible form of medicine. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask in the comments section. Soon we're going to get in and do a massage for Art. Art's going to be a new teacher for our school as well. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I think one of the most important things in my opinion about health is never to think about it as a perfection thing. It's always, we're just trying to do the best we can. You know, we try and be the healthiest we can mentally, physically, psychologically, but you're never going to get to some absolute state, and we're always going to be working on it. And as things like massage therapists and healers, we're often dealing with other people's difficult stuff and getting involved in other people's energy fields that are more difficult, so there's always going to be different